Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. As the sun sets rather dramatically this evening, this summer evening. So thought I'd share that with you. Now, let's just give the camera a little wipe. Hey, who we got? Plane trip soon. Who else we got? Zoo Scott, hello. Tony Dixon. All right, hi. Good evening. Justice. Shops, hello. The Earth is scientifically flat, Stacey. Christopher. Yes, it certainly is, yeah. Oh, it's well, obviously, you know, what you get with these globe defenders, and especially when it comes to maps, is I've had one guy going on at me saying he's a pilot, and all he can produce as his proof is a piece of string on a blow-up inflatable globe, and he reckons he's a pilot. I'm saying, come on, bring your proof. And so he sends me these links to string on. It's great, really, because it just shows how, you know, what these people accept over reality. They'll argue till the cows come home. And so that's the scale that proves the globe. Oh dear. So we really are dealing with idiots, just like we're dealing with COVID idiots. You know, same. Hello, blood. Same thing, really. We see what they refuse to. But it's quite, you know, what I was going to highlight some of the very, very nasty rhetoric that you get from these guys. And because what does that show you? It shows you someone who feels that they must put down other people. They feel insecure. They are not whole. For these trolls who spend their time trying to defend the globe belief, whether they're paid or not, or just doing it because of their you know. So it just means that they are insecure, and they're, you know, otherwise they just wouldn't be. You know, it's just the ego talking. They haven't even gotten towards the self-questioning stage. So, you know, they're in many ways unaware of their own ego's actions, and because they're trying to inflict pain with their words, and they're trying to, you know, so just, you know, operating on that basis. Oh, hello, James. Hi. Shows us that they haven't. You know, you are dealing with literally with trolls, with mindless trolls that are literally mind controlled, because they're behaving in ways in which they. You know, they may believe they have control over a situation, or provoking a react. I suppose what the point I'm trying to make is that they feel that, you know, they're being clever by trying to provoke a reaction, because, you know, that's the kind of level they operate on, this kind of reactionary level, rather than actually, you know, attempting to not react. So, hi, James. So yeah, it's very telling, and it's kind of, you know, so I don't care about being rude to some of these guys sometimes, you know, and of course they gang up on you and say, oh, you can't, and it's like, no, you guys all deserve a big slap in the face. You need to be punched, you know, proverbially, not literally, Not I'm trying to incite violence, but you know. Oh dear. Who we got? Who else we got? Well, okay, Whale. Hi. Displaying the same qualities, but because you know we've all been there, and but you know. Oh, I'm trying to hold my glasses on with my arms here, but it's. Are you back in Phuket? No, I'm still, I'm in Portishead, but fairly, you know, there is progress, in contact with the embassy, and because I have a wife and kids over there, they do appear to give a priority, but it's pretty ridiculous. I would have to book a flight, get a COVID test done, get insurance, get fit to fly certification, and you know this is insurance that specifically covers COVID. I would have to agree to be tracked and traced when I got there and shoved in quarantine. If I can do all that and have it all sent off to them within 72 hours of my departure, then I might be considered to be allowed to go. That's the situation at the moment for you know, a foreigner who's married to a Thai with you know, with dependents in Thailand. So at the moment it's you know, it's pretty difficult. There are insurance companies that, of course, you know, jumped on the bandwagon, and of course this is what it is. A lot of this is all about. Is, of course, you know, it's going to cost us a lot more to travel. There's going to be all this insurance, so I have to have travel insurance. No, not travel insurance, just health insurance that will cover me for up to $100,000. Yeah. So I've checked with a couple of companies just to see, and you know, it's you know, premiums that, you know, getting towards £200 a month. So yeah, that's, you know, that's another part of this whole big scam. You know, these guys are in long term, you know, in it for the long term, and of course this all reflects what I was talking about in my earlier video, the COVID coup. Is the, you know, the banks, the World Bank and the World Health Organization, and the models, you know, the sole provider of the model, the COVID model, is well, I suppose you could call them a digital model maker, that has literally was very proud of basically instigating this entire industry, which is the insurance industry. Their clients are insurers, reinsurers, underwriters, and all these kinds of things. So, you know, a lot of this COVID thing has been set up for that, for the insurers. And I don't know if you know, I can't remember how many months ago it was, but when this was first, that's about the only COVID video I've done, because of that connection with the World Bank. So yeah, sure, Bill Gates and all that, yeah, that's part of it, but it's also a bit of a scapegoat, because you know, what's obvious now is the usual financial you know, what's the word, chains that are put around people with insurance. All based on fear, the what if, and all that. So yeah, that's where a lot of this money is going to be. There, insurance should be a crime, same as tax. That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, it's funny. I mean, there was a story not too long ago in the local papers in Phuket, where some drunk taxi driver had driven into this antique shop, you know, which is like this old geezer. He'd owned it or had this antique shop and destroyed like millions of bahts worth of stuff. Muslim guy, the shop owner, and you know, the guy, it wasn't insured or anything like that. It was just one of those businesses that he'd built up over years and years and years. And well, you know, so okay, millions of bahts worth of antiques lost. I think there was I think it was a fire because of the crash, and but you know, there wasn't a court case or anything like that. You know, the taxi driver kind of, you know, said he was very sorry and met with the owner, and the owner was very kind of just kind of, well, that's it then. That's that then. Things come and go. And I thought that was a wonderful example of the way the Asian culture or that kind of, and it's not even Buddhist. This was, like I said, was a Muslim guy, but there was that basically kind of, the taxi driver was obviously very distraught, and he learned his lesson, and the shop owner learned not to hang on to that materialism, and everyone went on their way. Shit happens, and you get on with life. But yes, where the belief, you said, I mean, if you just imagine if you're all pent up and in some kind of wranglings over insurance and stuff like that, so even when you've paid your money, it's like getting blood out of a stone, isn't it? So it's just more stress and tension. It's just like, sometimes in this life things come and go. We're born into it naked, we put clothes on and we collect amass possessions, and then we either kind of get rid of them before we die, or we leave a bloody great big mess behind, and often that can be debt as well that gets left behind. So the less you have before you go, the better it probably is for yourself and your the bereaved that you leave behind ultimately. These are all lessons and experiences in life, aren't they? And although we were all kind of aware of the nefarious agenda behind all of this, in many ways, I'm sure a lot of us have been on some kind of intimate personal journeys during this time, and that's always healthy. We know. I have too been in some very dark places, but it's also training ground, isn't it? This when you're in a situation where you can see. It's funny now, as hearing some little snippet on the news where, of course, now people have realised they're all kind of house hunting. People that have been living in apartments and stuff, thinking, "Oh, it's cool," now want houses, because now they realise that they having been locked away for months, they realise that you're better off having a garden somewhere you can grow your own food and congregate and things like that. So. Who's that? Andy Taylor, love all real truthers. I'm here for you. Oh, thanks very much. Flat enough, capitalism, whoever dies with the most toys wins. Yeah. And I was actually speaking about this with a friend of mine. In Phuket you have these very affluent, this is where people go with their super yachts at certain times of year, and I've met some extremely wealthy people, but some of the happiest people I've met in the world are those with nothing. Literally kind of living off the land, and we'll share the food off their plate, we'll split whatever they have with you, and expect. It's for one thing I've noticed about this culture here, the British culture. We're very much a culture of thank yous, and then having to say thank you for the thank you, your P's and Q's. It's all very nice being civilized and polite, but there's a huge business in cards, thank you cards. And then it's funny because I've gotten used to that culture where you do things out of compassion, or because, for example, you might get some food for someone because you see that they're hungry. You don't expect any thanks, but it's funny because even though the Brits are very charitable and generous as a rule, charity giving and all that, but there's this kind of expectation of thanks as well. And so someone might even send a card, which is very nice, thank you for this, or thank you for doing that for me. And then they'll be kind of like, well, they didn't say thank you for the card. Oh, sorry, lost you there. Yeah. So, we can get, it's funny, we can get very caught up in funny, people want to be thanked for their benevolence, and that shouldn't be the goal at all, should it? Yeah. So, it's very, very, very educational comparing those cultures, and everyone's different expectations. What's that, Tony? All distractions, smoke screens for a world financial reset. This is it, isn't it? Yeah, we know what's going on, But I think again, it's not worth being. Awareness is great, isn't it? If you're aware, then fine. You can build a life. You can get on with a life and have expectations. I think the biggest thing is having your expectations dashed and the rug pulled out from underneath you. At least we kind of if you've been down the rabbit hole and popped your head back up again, you're probably in a fairly firm place. Back down to earth, as it were. I think for a lot of us, rather than googly-eyed up in space, even though it's very wonderful for us to look up there and imagine the reality check you get from research and asking questions of yourself, then that kind of, I think it what was it I was watching? I can't remember the name of it. This guy out there in France doing his thing, and he was doing some landscaping or something, and he was given all these tools. And yeah, we always, if we're on the path, we get what we need at the right time, and maybe we all get what we need at the right time, but we're just not aware of it until later. Or maybe it's much more magical if you can appreciate those small things that come by on a daily basis. Those daily miracles, they happen every day. That's one reason I loved Thailand and I stayed there for so long, because although it was it's a massive roller coaster, there was always a miracle every day, something, and it was usually involving people, sometimes animals, but of course you notice it. You've got this heightened awareness if you're in a different place. It's easy to get kind of wrapped up in the mundane here when everything's very familiar, and you stop noticing the miracles that go on. So yeah. Who's that? Good servant. Hello there. I am because we are one. Love. All right. Yeah. Here we go. Stephen. Hi. Sorry, I'm not noticing you all. I'm kind of doing I've got one hand on my glasses, one hand on the phone. The crashing of the 1933 original credit bubble of the Fed. Yeah. But of course I used to worry about all that, the Fed and all that. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. It's just monopoly money. And they'll just print. And so what if they're in debt? So what? Leave them to it. Let them play their games. If you haven't gone and bought yourself a mansion, and tied yourself up in knots with debt, then you're probably all right. Things will work out. And even if you're up to your eyeballs, there is a way out. That's the thing, isn't it? What we see around us is people, whether it's flat Earth or the kind of the mainstream followers, and they're having their own little roller coaster ride, and they can get off anytime they want. What's this? Individual perspective. I'm looking to buy some land. Can get 3 or 4 acres for less than 40k. Was thinking about putting static caravans in it. Oh yeah, no, lovely. That's just and that's exactly kind of the lines I was thinking of. I want to get my family over here, and maybe we'll rent somewhere, and then just scrape up enough cash to get together for a piece of land and build on it, and blah blah blah. Away you go. So many people won't even, I think what another thing I've noticed here is the huge amount of money people will waste on I don't know, a sofa or something like that. I mean, okay, fair enough. Sometimes you want to, but it's like, it's amazing how much, I lost you all there for a minute. Love forever. Who's that? Any more proof? Flat Earth? Have a look at this. Yeah.